The last thing the witnesses saw was a man running at full speed towards the forest and quickly disappearing among the trees. No reason for this behavior was ever found, and the man is still missing. By the age of 26, Terrence Schimmel Woods Jr. had already established himself as a TV movie director. Having received a good education in England, Woods worked on wildlife documentaries in Turkey and Alaska. In 2018, Woods signed a contract with the British studio Raw TV, which is known for filming the reality show Discovery Gold Rush. In October of the same year, Woods was sent to the heartland of the state of Idaho to shoot the documentary Whitewater about the abandoned Penman gold mine. This mine was located in the Naples Clearwater National Forest in the north of the state, and Woods was there not alone, but with 12 members of the film crew. According to later descriptions of these people, Woods was in high spirits at the beginning of shooting in the woods, and there was nothing to indicate that he had any mental problems, depression or obsessive-compulsive state. On October 5, 2018, the film crew spent the entire day in the vicinity of the same mine. It was an isolated mountainous area, but all the team members had a lot of experience shooting in such conditions. Woods was a little quieter than usual that day, but everyone in the group was very tired, so the director's behavior didn't stand out. But when people began to collect tools to leave the area of the mine, everyone saw something strange. They saw Woods running at full speed toward the woods, and there was no reason to see him do it. He also did not scream, but simply ran quickly into the forest. We were finishing the day's work, and Woods was talking to one of the local miners. I was sitting in the car when Woods suddenly said he needed to step back and calm down. He was standing on the rock at that moment, and when I looked back at the rock a few moments later, all I saw was that Woods' radio was lying on the ground at the base of the rock. At first I thought that Woods had also fallen off the cliff, so I jumped out of the car and ran there, but when I got to the cliff, I saw Woods, who was 15 feet away from the cliff, and every moment he was getting further away, quickly running down to the trees like a hare. I've never seen a man run so fast in my life. I shouted to the team members to get in their cars and go out on the main road, and I decided to catch up with Woods. I didn't run after him, I was walking, and I decided that if he saw me running, he would get even more scared and speed up his run. I soon lost sight of Woods, so I went back to the rock. I contacted the team and found out that they didn't meet Woods on the main road either. Mobile communication here worked intermittently, so we had to look for a house with a landline phone to call the police and report the loss of our director, said the head of the film crew. When they began to examine the area, it turned out that the escaped Woods had only his smartphone with him, because his backpack was found abandoned in the woods near the cliff. The police arrived late in the evening, so the search did not begin until the next morning. Helicopters with infrared cameras, service dogs and groups of volunteers were involved in the search operation. The infrared cameras picked up nothing in the woods, nor did the service dogs, who couldn't pick up a trace of Woods at all, even at the cliff. And soon the first snow fell in the region, which hid all potential evidence. According to one of the searchers, everything in the forest now looked as if Woods had not run away at all. A week passed and still no trace of the missing Woods was found. But later, some suspicious and strange clues began to appear. It turned out that although Woods and the film crew planned to work in Idaho until mid-November, Woods wrote to his father that he would return home on October 10th, without giving any reason for such a hasty return. Neither did any of the group know that Woods was planning to shorten their stay. And then some of Woods' friends and acquaintances said that on the eve of this trip to Idaho, he told about an unusual uneasy feeling that had been haunting him all the last weeks before the trip. He even explicitly mentioned once that he really didn't want to go there. It all looked very unusual, because Woods was a big fan of extreme travel and loved working in isolated wild places on the planet. According to Woods' sister, he never seemed to her like a person who could panic and run away from fear, stress or something else, headlong into the dense forest. She said that he adored his work and was a loving person. Another strange detail was that on the morning of his disappearance, Woods sent his father a dark and shady picture of the river flowing through the canyon, and did not attach any explanation to it. Leaflets with a photo of Woods were posted all over the region. Many times a search for volunteers was organized, and Woods' family gave interviews to journalists and called for help to find him, but all was unsuccessful. No trace of Woods was found in October or November. The snow was falling more and more, and even the slightest chance that he might still be alive was lost. The whole story was strange from the start, and Wood's family and friends didn't understand what could have caused him to run into the woods in a panic, or how he managed to disappear there in such a way that the service dogs couldn't smell his tracks. According to one of the versions proposed by the researchers, Woods could suddenly be afraid of something that other members of his team did not notice. Or he was suffering from a latent mental disorder that was aggravated by overwork. There is also a hypothesis that Woods was intimidated and then killed by someone from the film crew, and when Woods ran into the woods, he tried to hide from this person. But how could this unknown killer hide the body and remove the traces, when within a few hours the entire region was filled with search teams and police? There is also a paranormal version of what happened. Allegedly some force took over the mind of Woods and lured him into the woods. It also hid all traces of his presence in the forest. It is curious that even in ancient times it was noticed that sometimes in the forest people are attacked by some uncontrollable feeling of fear, which forces them to run headlong. This condition was called panic fear, after the Greek god Pan. Those victims of panic that could be found attributed their behavior to a sharp sudden paranoia, a sense of persecution and imminent danger. They felt an insistent desire to run as far and deep as possible, away from human settlements. Another very strange fact is that on the same day, on October 5, 2018, in the same region, but 56 miles north of the place where Woods disappeared, a pensioner Connie Johnson went missing, who went on a hiking trip to Misty Mountain. And on October 7, 2018, the Idaho Sheriff's Office received a report about the disappearance of 42-year-old Jose Mendez Morales, who left his home and went to Elk City on business. His path was still in the same area of the Naples-Clearwater National Forest. He, like Connie Johnson, has still not been found. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of mysterious stories and photos. Check out this playlist and I'll see you in the next video.